Hey, everybody. So, wow, did I start a crap show yesterday, huh? I'm kidding. Um, it's okay, and first and foremost, I want everybody to understand. The questions that are asked don't bother me at all. They don't bother Brenda at all. And in fact, there was some questions that I got privately messaged that I think were really good questions about this whole thing. And the questions were, okay, what do I believe and what don't I believe? The rest of it, I'm not even going to spend any more time on the past. That's done. But this whole thing of what do I question, what do I not question? What do I take as truth, and what do I need to look into? Another question I had was, how do I expect people if they can't, like most people don't understand and know how to read a study, or how to actually verify something that is true or not based on a study. You can't just do it by looking at the abstract. So very good questions. And here's the thing. You're not going to find Brenda or I downplaying or getting mad at any questions. Well, okay. There's the questions. We all know the people that ask the questions that they already know the answers to, that they're just trying to prove a point by being passive aggressive and asking a question. Well, that's okay. I just ignore that anyway. Like a lot of the messages I got yesterday privately. But here, anyway, the other questions that where people are truly concerned and want to learn and want to know are awesome. We encourage questions. Everybody who knows me knows I love to ask questions. So how do we go about, and what have we learned as far as what do we look into, what do we verify, what do we not verify? I'll tell you. I'll start it off by saying this: never take anything that anybody says as just blatantly as truth. Trust but verify. Let's put it that way. I'm not going to not trust somebody. If somebody, I've listened to somebody over and over, and they've repeatedly told me the truth, it's kind of like Big Al's fact, small bit of information. If somebody's been truthful with me, I'm going to tend to believe them, right? So I trust people, but I'm going to verify. And I verify in situations where something just, we all have that thing where you say, okay, in my gut, something just doesn't feel right in my gut. Trust that gut. That's the thing we're trying to say, is trust that small voice inside your head, that feeling inside your gut that says something just isn't right. And most of the time that issue is going to be that something is, so if somebody makes an all-encompassing or an all or nothing statement, those are the ones I watch out for. The every single time, or all of the time, or never. Those are the ones that I go, I'm going to look into this a little bit more. The things where people say, sometimes this happens, sometimes this doesn't, hey, most of the time I'm going to take those as probably decent, factual, maybe. But I'm going to listen to it, and if something sounds too good to be true, that's another time where I'm going to look into it a little bit more. Now, people say I do not have the ability or the knowledge or the experience to be able to read a study, to go out and to look up studies, and to understand what those studies mean. Fair enough, you don't. Well, some people have asked a great question. What do we do? Do we encourage people to still do that then, because they can't? Yeah, I still say yes, I do, because I'm going to set the expectation for people that they can learn how to do things. Now, will they possibly need some hand-holding and some walking through and some maybe some direction on how to do that? Yeah, they will. But I'm never going to not encourage somebody to try and learn more, do more, or be more. And here's the thing that I look at too, is as we go through life, business, everything, we're asking questions, and we aren't all there. Number one, there isn't always going to be a definitive answer to a question. There's going to be questions that come up that either there's never been a study done, there's never been any concrete information that could be concluded from a study, or something like that. So in that case, sometimes we have to take a best guess and maybe go along with the best guess, whichever way that leads us, whichever way we're leaning is usually the way we're going to go. That's okay, as long as we're not saying it that this is a fact. This is our best guess. This is the best thing we can surmise based on what I've seen, based on these things. That happens, and that's okay. But as we're going, there's been times where I have not been able to find my answer, so I'm going to go to someone else. And here's the thing: as you talk with your upline is going to have people that they trust based on their experience and their upline and the questions they've asked their upline of where these answers can be found. So questions are good. If you don't know the answer to a question, which there's been times where I don't, to be quite honest with you, I am not an essential oil guru. I'm not. Don't ever plan on being one either. That's why I use books. There's little space up there, and that little space is used for things other than essential oil knowledge, to be quite honest with you, and that's okay. But keep moving up and keep asking these questions, and at some point somebody's going to be able to try and find an answer for you. If somebody ever dismisses a question, you ask a question and you get that dismissive attitude, find somebody else and ask the same question. You can always post it on the Vital 180 page. The questions are always welcome. Questions are always good. And I think everybody should move forward asking these questions. Again, there may not be a concrete answer right away for you, and that's okay. But I think, again, it's that piece of all or nothing statements. Those should make you go, I don't know if I'm going to believe this. The things that sound way too good to be true, they sound outlandish, promises, those types of things. Anytime I hear anything like that, it just causes me to pause. My gut says, and the little voice in here says, let's look into this a little bit more. And quite honestly, I'm not going to repeat that. Let me rephrase that. I've learned not to necessarily repeat that information until I can verify either a source or concrete information that yes, that is true. And then if I can't find anything out there, but I've seen similar experiences, I may qualify my statement and say, I have no proof of this, no concrete like studies or evidence that this is the case, but here's some experience that we've had or I've had. That's a little different story. So, all right, guys, hopefully that makes some sense and clears something up after the crap show yesterday. Brenda leaves for 2 days. I post a video, and holy cow, everything just goes to hell in a handbasket. But that's okay. It was good. It was one of those things where the information needed to be out, and for the most part, everybody had a pretty civil discourse, that's the way it should be. Nobody's ever going to agree on everything, and I don't hold anything personal against anybody who didn't agree with me yesterday. So I think that everybody's trying to figure it out. Everybody's trying to find out what is true, what isn't. And everybody's got their personal feelings about people, and they don't like to see where they think people are being attacked or offended, which nobody was doing that. So y'all have a good rest of the day. If you got any questions below, I just had to make this post today because I thought those were great questions about what do I believe, who do I not believe. Any questions, write them below. And again, if Brenda and I make a statement and it's an all or nothing statement, or it sounds too good to be true, and you want to question us, by all means, do it. I have zero problem with that. In fact, I like that. If you don't agree, don't believe it, question it. Questioning doesn't mean you think the person's bad. Questioning just means I need more information. I need to understand. Help me. So, all right, guys. Have a great rest of the day. Hope you all have a great week. Catch y'all later.